Hi guys, and a very warm welcome onto this video series on Tympo from Teletone Audio. My name is Larry Holcomb, aka Get to Know, and I am super excited to be delivering this video series because this is a plugin that when I first heard the demos, I was like, wow, this just sounds amazing. It's got that kind of real vintage kind of 70s dry drum sound, which I personally really like, but also it's brought it up to the kind of present day when you add in the effects, and also the palette of drum kits that are available do kind of span lots of different kind of genres, and there's lots of different possibilities in there, but it definitely has that kind of really tight, dry sound, which I really like. Now, in this first video, we're going to have a look at a little bit of the ethos of the plugin in terms of kind of the workflow of how you use it. And also, we're going to just cover the interface so we know exactly what everything is called and where it's located right from the start. So we'll dive right in. Okay, so first of all, we have two tabs at the top here. And these are the two views for Beatmaker. There's a home page, which is where we can locate sound design, which is where we can kind of add mix effects here and real-time kind of controlled effects here as well. And also where we can choose our kits and also our beats and fine-tune the sound of each individual drum hit. That's the home page. And then next up, we have the Beatmaker page, which is where we can either program beats using the Beatmaker interface or visualize the beats that we've selected on the home page. We can kind of flick between different measures for the beats here as well. We can also use MIDI here too, which we're going to come on to later. So this is where you can basically sequence the drums that you select on the home page. So let's have a look at the home page in more detail. So the sound design section at the top is where you can first of all use either the pitch wheel and or the mod wheel to control various different parameters. These are going to be things that affect either the drum sounds individually, or alternatively, they may affect the Beatmaker sequences in different ways. And we're going to come on to that later. Down below here, we have mix effects, and you can see we have sub-menus for some of these effects here as well. Now, coming down here, we have the kit selection, which is where we can go through and choose from different drum kits. You can see those here, and we can also save user drum kits. And then we have a beat selection, which is where we can go through and choose pre-programmed beats that come with Tympo. And we can also access any beats that we may have favorited or saved as well. So these are kind of suggested BPMs for the beats. So you can play these back at any tempo you want. And these also come with kind of sound design settings as well for the drums. So it's kind of like the drum kit with a sequence beat and a series of different kind of mix effects added in there as well. Those are the beats. Now coming down below here, this is where we can choose to view the parameters for each one of our individual drum hits, and we can change things like volume, tuning, pan, reverb, compression. We can tighten the decay, which is really useful, and we have some basic EQ here as well. And we could also decide, okay, well, we don't like that snare that's come with that kit, but like everything else, you could go through and choose to fine-tune the individual drums that you're using within the kit, which is super useful as well. You can also change the output routing here too. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how this plugin is configured for you to use, what the kind of workflow is. So down in red here, let me just grab my little screenshot here I've taken from the manual. This shows you where the individual drum hits are located. You can see those down on here. So that means you can play this on the MIDI keyboard. As you would do any other plugin, essentially. And what I've got here is, I've just recorded in some drums here. So you can see these as MIDI, essentially. Now that's one way you could work with it. Now another way we can work with this is using these pre-programmed loops. So these span from C3 up to C4. Okay, so let's just go up on the MIDI keyboard. So now you can see I'm playing this low C3 here, or the middle C here. So it's all the white notes. And if I flick across to Beatmaker, you're going to see this is reflecting on which measure is getting triggered. So that way I could program a whole song's arrangement in terms of drums, just using the MIDI keyboard to play back the pre-configured beats. And obviously when I come to here, as I said, each one of these beats is going to have its own selection of sequences within Beatmaker, as well as having a different kit. So that is the basic workflow. We could either go through and use the MIDI keyboard to trigger the individual drum hits in red here, or alternatively, we could use a MIDI keyboard higher up from C3 to C4 to play back the amazing sequences that have been configured for us within Beatmaker. Okay, so hopefully from this first video, we now know where everything is located, what it's called, and also a basic workflow of how to use the plugin. So right from the start, even if you just wanted to watch one video just to get yourself going and then you can experiment on your own, you can do that from this first video. So what we learned is 2 tabs here, separate the plugin out: homepage, the Beatmaker. Homepage is where we can access sound design, real-time controllers, and also kind of more static mix controls here. And then below that, we can choose the kit selection, which is the drum kits that come with Tympo. And I should say these drum kits have been recorded using some real classic drum kits. Some of them are from Teletone HQ, some of them are from studios, where they've gone and recorded these amazing drums. So that's the kit selection, where we choose different drum kits to choose from, and also user kits. We're going to come on to that. Beat selection is where we can choose from pre-configured beat sequences, which come with their own corresponding drum kits. Below here, we have the drum detail, which is made up of individual tabs for each drum sound, where we can fine-tune the details for each drum sound and also choose to swap out drums for other drums if we don't like a certain drum hit within a kit. And output routing is just below here. Now, something I should say, there has been a recent update here. So we're working on version 1.1, and you can click down on where it says Teletone Audio to check your version. So if yours looks slightly different, you can tell if it's a previous version, because it's not going to have these locks on it, because that's one of the new features. So just make sure you're on the latest version, which came out quite recently. Okay, so that's video 1. And now that's covered, we're going to dive in and have a look at the sound design in a bit more detail. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.